a playlist original.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gaius Bowling, and I have a special guest on with me today. Actually, he recorded with us before, but then the episode had technical difficulties, and then I didn't get to release it. But this one should be completely fine, and he will finally be an official guest on Back to the Blockbuster. What's up, Tony? How you doing?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We were recording the episode for Signs, the
Right,
20th
right.
anniversary.
Yeah,
And unfortunately you had kept having difficulties. So yeah, that was a fun we had a fun conversation there. But yeah, thank you for having me back.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, it was a fun episode, and believe me, we tried to salvage it. It just kept dropping and dropping. It was the internet and a bunch of other stuff. Um, but you were completely understanding, and I was like, whenever I can have you on again, I would love to have you on. So thank you for coming back today.
Yeah, no problem.
So for those that don't know, let everyone know about your Instagram page and then also about your podcast. 'Cause I know when you were a guest on our show, even though we didn't put it out there, I think you were just about to start it, or you had just started it.
No, it was in the process. We were
This okay,
trying, I think we recorded like a test episode and we
okay,
hadn't really, I think we released it like a few weeks later.
okay,
But yeah, it's been going great. I mean, we just recorded episode 14 and we're getting into our flow. And
nice.
yeah, it's cool. I mean, I love talking movies and TV. And for my IG, it's the Sertone underscore reviews. I do a lot of reviews there, a lot of rankings that get me in trouble with some people, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, everyone thinks that they think about their top films from 1998 and they see yours and they're like, well, where's this movie at? And what about this movie? Like, why is that movie number one?
Yeah,
And
that
it's always
would
like
do.
somebody.
Yeah, I try to be nice and I don't try to troll. I mean, you're gonna get trolls in every post, and I just nicely say, why don't you make your own top 10 and I'll check it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then
And
I
then
won't
I'll
like
respond.
yeah, and exactly. And then I won't like troll you. I will actually give you like constructive criticism about what I
Yeah,
thought about
yeah,
your top 10. Not like, oh, that movie's trash. Why is it on your list? Like
yeah.
give me
And
give me something deeper.
it's like it's like there's a very small percentage of people who do that. So the
Oh
vast
yeah, it's true.
majority of people are great. It's
Yeah.
just that you have 1,000 people saying, "Oh, that's great," and then you have that one person like just kind of gets on your nerves, but
Yeah,
you gotta let
yeah.
it go. You gotta let it go. I mean, like, you know what? That's fine. If it's not for you, just move on.
Exactly. So you're a podcast, so it's two of you, right? It's you and another
Yeah,
co-host.
co-host Maya, she goes under Stygian Films.
Okay.
It's called The Real Spotlight, and our IG page for the podcast is the underscore Real Spotlight. And we do TVs, kind of everything.
Yeah.
Today actually we were talking about trailers. So when you messaged me about talking about trailers, I'm like, I kind of started laughing. I'm like, oh, I want to be talking about trailers.
all day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank you for being on, and then we'll link all of your stuff at the bottom of the description of this episode, so everyone can find you on Instagram and also listen, rate, and subscribe to your podcast as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I remember when you were talking about it before we started recording the Signs episode, and like it is fun. It's a fun like thing to get into, and then you meet a lot of cool people and like collaborate and then you're also trying to find your groove with your show. I mean, like we ours just had a year anniversary in November, and it's still like evolving. Like we
Yeah.
just recorded like a spin-off episode this week,
Yeah.
and
I
like we
saw
felt
on your, yeah.
yeah we felt comfortable enough to do that now that it's been like a year, and like even the main show is kind of changing where I'm like kind of rotating like different guests in and out, which has also been really good because you get different energy and
Yeah.
different perspectives. So that part's fun too as well.
Yeah. I think with every episode we do, when I edit, I'm trying to learn something from each episode to bring to the next one. And that's something cool. Like, okay, I'm going to try to do this, or
Yeah.
let's try to incorporate this. And it, like I said, it's been a fun ride, and hopefully, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and yeah, keep it going for sure. I mean, it gets more fun, and then like you kind of like can learn from like what's working and what's not working. Uh, if anything, though, the best thing about it is like the collaboration though that you can potentially have with other people and
Yeah.
like kind of cross promote, and because everyone's trying to, it's a crowded field. Like I mean, podcasting in general is crowded field, but like entertainment, media, pop
Yeah.
culture, another very crowded field. So when people are willing to help each other in it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice to see.
Yeah. I just interviewed a young director. I think you probably see him on Instagram. William Atticus Parker. He did 40
Oh yeah,
Winks.
yeah.
I interviewed him the other day, so that was kind of my first official
Interview.
interview. So it went
Nice.
really well. So that'll be in the new episode that drops tomorrow.
Well, very cool. Well, everyone will get a chance to listen to it, and then some of the other episodes are already dropped as well. Um, yeah, I'm glad that you're. I mean, at least you've already been on talking trailers, so like you're ready for a
Yeah.
trailer talk. Trailer talk. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to jump into something that kind of got reported like late last night and then carry on into the morning, but people have been talking about it a while. About whether or not to call Black Adam a, I don't even want to say success, but like people are like trying to treading water about calling it like a disappointment or a
Like a
flop,
bomb or yeah.
a bomb, right? Because like before the movie came out, one of the producers said that the threshold was $450 million globally to even to break even. That was like the number they need to hit because
Yeah.
it has a production budget of like reportedly 195 to 200 million plus $100 million marketing spend. Warner Brothers claims it's less at 80, but that's like tomato. It's still a big
Yeah.
amount of money for marketing. Plus, you know, like movie theater owners get like a large chunk of box
Yeah.
office earnings as well.
You get a big
So
chunk.
yeah, and so far the movie has grossed $387 million worldwide. It's slowing down significantly. They think it might kind of just make it to 400 million, which means they're looking at a potential loss of 50 to $100 million on the movie. Um, they were saying that the bar for success, realistically, what talking to like rivals and not Warner Brothers, they won't give you this number, but they
Yeah.
were saying 600 million globally was like the perfect number for it to hit to
Yeah.
for them to be comfortable with like, you know, greenlighting a sequel, doing all this other stuff that they want to do. Now there is the whole digital thing. Is apparently it's doing really well right now. At home because it was released digitally over Thanksgiving break.
Yeah.
They're expecting about 25 to 30 million more from that before it hits HBO Max. But you're still looking at a potential loss, and like I just, you know, I like Dwayne Johnson a lot. I think
Yeah.
he seems like a very. I mean, I got to meet him before, and seems like a very nice guy. And I've said it before on the show. If I wanted someone to promote single-handedly promote my project just on their own, it would be him
Yeah.
because he can build up a lot of hype and all that stuff. But I don't think even he could. I told someone that this would be a big test of like its kind of power at the box office,
Yeah.
and I think that even he like even though like on Instagram like the 3 weeks it was number one, he kept saying like it's the number one movie in the world, and then that was true, it was, but
Yeah.
like the numbers weren't great. Like
Yeah.
after
The numbers weren't like mind blowing.
right, because after the $67 million opening, it dropped 60% in the second weekend.
Yeah.
Now they were toting the opening as like his biggest opening as him being a lead. Like they were trying to like spin the positives of it. But if
Yeah.
you were just like looking at the hard numbers, it wasn't doing what it
Yeah.
should have been doing. And I know there's all this talk about it like changing the hierarchy of the DC universe and like all this other stuff. But what do you think? Do you think that like there's money's been left on the table here? Are they really kind of considering like what they do next with it or like how they move? Because I know DC is in this weird place right now where things are looking up because they have James Gunn and Peter Safran like going
Yeah.
to be in charge of like DC Studios and like kind of like riding that ship a little bit. But like is there some cause for concern that this didn't do as well as it probably should have?
I think there is because I mean, let me just say that I think the dude is so charismatic. He's so inspirational. I mean, you look at his IG, you're like, the dude is just nonstop, and
Yep.
he's very, very, very likable. But if you can't have one of the biggest quote movie stars in the world, you know, make more than 67 million the opening weekend of a movie that he's been promoting nonstop for. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been his brainchild for what, 14,
Oh,
12 years or something like that.
yeah, yeah. It's been like labor of love for that long, and then as soon as they could start promoting the thing, like within the last like year or two, like even the smallest things he was pushing out there to get the word out.
I
Um,
think,
you know,
yeah, I think if this was like if this Black Adam movie was a lead that it was like a newcomer, then I think these numbers would be big. But I
yeah,
think it's being The Rock. It
right,
is kind of a disappointment and letdown.
yeah.
Yeah,
I agree too. I mean, I and like and it's fine that he will never like admit that, right? He'll never be like, yeah, we could have done a little bit. I mean, he's made certain comments because I think IGN posted after Wakanda Forever opened, like they were saying that its global gross like outgross like Black Adams at that certain point
in like a
within
week or
like
something.
we in like a week, and he actually commented on that post and was basically saying like they're established, like not trying to talk shit, but like they're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
established IP. It's not like the same, and like we're kind of like the little guy just getting started, but that is a far cry from like saying all the stuff that he was saying like
yeah.
right before it opened, like this is gonna like change. There was like all this like build up behind it, and I feel like once it opened and then it kind of didn't do what they expected to do, then the narrative had to turn into like, or we're like the little engine that could,
Yeah.
and like
I yeah, while I was watching the movie, I'm thinking, how are they gonna make a sequel to this? Like, are they even gonna try to make a sequel? Are they gonna have a Black Adam be like a supporting cast member in a Superman movie? Like, I don't see
yeah,
them
like
making a sequel to Black Adam in the near future after these numbers.
I don't either, and I don't see like I mean I. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna sound bad, like that he might have like a bit of an ego, but I can't see him wanting to play supporting to in someone else's feature, like
Yeah.
him having that character be a supporting player in like someone else's like larger story. I can't see him doing that either. Um,
And which
but
is,
yeah,
yes, I when you say that, I'm thinking about Dave Bautista, the
yeah,
route he's doing. He's like being, he's taking smaller roles with better directors, getting in better movies, and he's building up his filmography, as you can say. And now
yeah,
he's getting more leads, or in
yeah,
the new movie with M Night, and
yeah,
you can see like, you know what? I don't have to be the badass MFer who never die, or kind of The Rock does have an ego. You never see him down, or well, maybe in Jumanji he did play the
he kind of like
the
played up the like made fun of his like kind of macho persona by
yeah, yeah,
playing opposite, like playing soft a little bit, like because his avatar is supposed to be like, even though his avatar is strong, the kid is kind of like
yeah.
a softie and stuff. Yeah, yeah. So that's the
But
only
the
time I've really
vast
seen him do it.
but the vast majority of his movies, he's the lead and kind of
Yeah.
a invincible guy. So hopefully, I mean, he could look at Bautista and be like, maybe I should take a little smaller role here or there and just kind of,
Like kind of like
try
he
to
did
build up this cred.
kind of like he did earlier in his career. Like that's kind of how he, I mean, I know he did take leads in like certain action movies and stuff, but like kind of like what he did with like Be Cool. He took a supporting role in that. He's actually funny in that, like really funny in Be Cool. Like that movie has its issues, but like, maybe he should kind of go the route of like taking it. I know it might be kind of hard because he is
Yeah.
The Rock. He is Dwayne Johnson. I think it's funny that
Yeah.
you brought up Dave Bautista because like when we were talking about Knives Out on here last week, I made the comment that like at first I thought like Dave Bautista's comments a long time ago about like when they said that if he would ever work with like Dwayne Johnson or John Cena because they all come from the wrestling world.
Yeah.
And he basically said like, well, I want to make films, want to make real movies. I remember
Yeah.
thinking that that was like shade, but then like looking at what he's been
Yeah.
doing the last like
Yeah.
his last few roles, it totally makes sense like the trajectory that he wants to take. Like I understand
Even
it now
that
where
small, even that small, tiny part in Blade Runner 2049. I
yeah,
mean, did you ever see The Rock do a little
no,
cameo or part like that?
yeah, not at all. And then like
And
and with
that's what
him
I'm
doing
saying. Like,
yeah, and with him doing something like that, he got to work with a great director and he got to work with that great director again doing Dune.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
Yeah.
and then you take stuff like Knives Out, you get to work with Ryan Johnson. Now you're working with M Night Shyamalan. Like, I made a comment, and I know it's kind of like out there a little bit, but I was like, I could see Dave Bautista working with a Spielberg or a Scorsese before Dwayne Johnson does.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think, and
eh,
that, and they could see him. He's probably like really cool on set, and he's probably taking mental notes of
yeah.
everything, and he probably doesn't. I'm talking like I know the guy, but maybe he doesn't have that big
Like my
ass
boy.
ego, and he's kind of like a sponge, and he's soaking everything in. So yeah, I'm rooting for him. Because I can see what he's trying to do. And like I said, I still like The Rock. I still think he's real likable and all
Yeah,
that. But I
I
just
think so
hope
too.
he figures out. I don't know if he has any projects coming up, but I just hope he
Yeah,
like finds movies that are more smaller,
yeah. I know the one.
or
I think
like
he's.
we could see like the real him.
Oh yeah, more of his range. I know that he's filming that Christmas, I think Amazon movie with Chris Evans right now, which I forgot the description. It was a weird. He said it was a mix of like a bunch of stuff, and I was like, like kind of like it doesn't. It sounds like typical like Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. But we need to
fair.
see a movie of him not being him,
Right. Like
like
show
not
show
being The
some
Rock.
show some vulnerability a
Yeah,
little bit maybe. I actually
yeah.
liked Black Adam. I thought I was entertained by it. Like it did for me
Mhm.
what some DC films haven't done lately, and it actually like entertained me. And I could see why critics didn't love it because it there was very little like story, but it was still
Yeah.
like a fun movie to watch. But even though he people were saying that like, oh, he doesn't have as much charisma in this, he because his character's a little bit different from other stuff he's played. I still just saw Dwayne Johnson playing Dwayne Johnson,
Yeah.
which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, like
Yeah.
he's likable dude, so like I'm not taking anything away from him for that, but like it's hard for him to break out of that unless he really wants to try to play something
Yeah.
completely different. I think,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah. It should be interesting. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too, and like I imagine like the people at Warner Brothers like you have one of the biggest movie stars in the world, and like this movie's barely going to struggle to get to 400 million worldwide. Um, and now you have
Yeah.
to rely and now to oh yeah,
They
go
were
ahead.
probably banking on this. They probably weren't even worrying about this movie. They're like, oh,
No,
that's in the bank. We're not gonna have to worry about this. Let's
yeah,
focus on other movies. And now they're like, oh shit, we gotta eat some
yeah, we
crow
gotta eat
here, or like be like,
a
damn, we
little bit,
gotta
yeah,
we gotta eat so a lot.
yeah,
Because I imagine Dwayne's is his paycheck from the movie part of the budget, or is that
yeah.
separate?
No, it
Because I'm sure
probably
he got like
is.
20 million out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, and like he seems like one of those people that would want to work at a like kind of like percentage of the box office kind of deal too. Like,
Yeah. Kind of like
yeah,
Arnold when he used to do
kind
it
of
in the
like,
90s.
yeah,
He'd be like,
I
I don't want 50. I just want the percentage. And it works out if you do that. If it
yeah.
makes money.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure like once they get the money from digital and then they factor in Blu-ray sales, then they'll be able to be like, yo, it was a hit. Like we finally made like a
We,
little bit money back
we
on
made
it.
we made 20 million bucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
$200 million
But
investment.
yeah, but who knows with these studios? I mean,
Yeah.
they might be doing a Black Adam too. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I think they might just be like, because a lot of people didn't even know who the character is. I know there was some
Yeah.
confusion even with my friends, because like they were like when some of them saw it with me and they were like, oh, like why does he say Shazam? Isn't there another guy that does that? And like,
Yeah.
yeah, and like so
Yeah.
they were like really. So if you're not immersed in that, you're not gonna really know, you know.
And he's kind of
But
like he's basically like a Superman. He's
yeah,
somewhat invincible like Superman. So it's kind of like, I don't know. How are you gonna have a Superman and Black Adam? You can't have them
yeah,
fight because it's gonna be silly. It's gonna be like General Zod and Superman fighting is kind of like silly. So
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yep. All right, let's talk some movie trailers. A lot of them dropped last week, some of them on the very same day. I'm just gonna go with this one first because it's been the most interesting one for me to like watch and hear about. So there is a black comedy thriller called Cocaine Bear, um, coming out next year. Directed by Elizabeth Banks. This is her third directorial effort. She directed Pitch Perfect 2 and then that Charlie's Angels reboot, which is not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. Um,
Yeah.
and now this. Um, uh, Jimmy Warden wrote it, and it is inspired loosely, I hear, by the true story of Cocaine Bear, an American black bear who ingested a duffel bag full of cocaine in 1985. It looks like after the bear does it in the movie, at least according to the trailer, he goes on a very wild killing spree. Um, the cast, I mean, you got Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Jesse Tyler Ferguson. There are some decent people in this, and
Isn't
Ray Lee.
Aaron
Oh,
Rankin there?
yeah, all the yeah, young,
All I forgot his
yeah,
name. Han
yeah,
Solo.
young Han Solo, and then Ray Liotta in one of his final performances before his passing as well. Um, I saw the trailer and I was like, I thought it looks fun. I
It
got like
looks
snakes. I like got snakes on the plane vibes from it. But
yeah.
then then I saw people were either posting on Instagram or Twitter, best thing ever, can't wait to see it, or this looks like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
And that's the
I
reason let's watch it.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, what a pitch to a studio. Like I'm gonna take this story of this American black bear that ingested a duffel bag of cocaine and run with it. I think they had to show like a lot of the money shots to like get people like, oh, this is.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that makes
mean,
sense. Yeah.
him chasing like the ambulance at the end of the trailer and like it just looks so ridiculous, but like so good. And like, I don't know. I mean, like you have to know this can't be like serious. So that's why I thought it was so funny that like some people were like, "Oh, this looks terrible." Like, what were you expecting?
Yeah.
Like when I first
I
heard they were making something like this, I was like, "Wait,
I
what?"
thought it was a joke at first when
Yeah,
I
I,
first saw like the post, not the poster. When I first saw the headline, I'm like,
yeah,
no, this is a spoof. This is satire. They're not.
yeah.
What is this? No, this is a movie that it's gonna have like 15% critic score and like 100% audience score.
Watch. Or it's gonna fucking like trick us, and like critics are gonna love it. Like, you're gonna get like all
Oh
those like
yeah,
early first reactions that are like, "Oh, this is one of the best movies of the year." Like it's gonna be like one of those. I would be surprised. I can either way. I can see it going either way. Um,
it's one
yeah,
of those things that I saw and I go, this looks bonkers, and I don't care if it looks like it's ridiculous. I gotta watch it the
I
first
gotta
day.
go for it.
I
Yeah.
gotta
And
go.
then like so like my thing was they released the poster the day before and I thought that was like
Yeah,
cool enough. I was like, oh, this looks pretty good, looks legit. And then when they dropped the trailer the next day, I was like, oh, I mean, I'm all in on what they're trying to do. And I kind of
yeah,
feel like Elizabeth Banks seems like she has like a really good sense of humor too.
yeah.
And I think she just wants the audience to be like, yo, this is like be in on like the kind of dark comedy like joke with us. Um and not take it so seriously because I mean their Twitter page, I forgot they do have like a Cocaine Bear Twitter page with like the bear's picture on it. And like I think one of their headings was like I'm the bear that ate the cocaine. This is my story. And that was like and then they have the trailer beneath it. So like it's already perfect promotion and
Yeah,
like
I think this is the epitome of shut your brain off when you sit
exactly.
down in the theater and just have fun. Like, don't
It,
even be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do an in-depth analysis of this and review it." Like, no, no, just relax and watch it. Eat some
yeah.
popcorn and watch an insane bear go crazy. But you know,
So
it's funny
like
when I was watching the trailer. You know, you mentioned Ray Liotta. He
yeah.
gave me that Henry Hill vibe
Yeah, a
at
little
the
bit,
end of
yeah.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, a little bit. That's hilarious. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. And like my friend was like, "Well, what do you mean by loosely based?" I was like, "I'm pretty sure just the part about the bear eating the cocaine is the true part. I don't think the murderous killing spree
Yeah.
is like the true part."
I did read when I went to the wiki page and in the line at the bottom it said the bear that actually the real bear is actually like displayed in some mall in Kentucky, like
Oh
stuffed
yeah,
or
I'm looking at it
yeah.
right now. It's stuffed, yeah, with a hat on. Oh man, that's hilarious.
I'm sure like people are going out there to take pictures of their selfies.
Oh yeah, I mean it'll probably yeah, I can imagine like that's gonna be a big tourist attraction once the movie comes out. They all want to go like
Uh,
see it and take a picture with the bear. Uh, but yeah, I mean that's why when you hear about stuff that's like loosely based on a true story or inspired by a true story, make sure you read up on it first, so you just don't go
Yeah.
like, "This really happened,"
Yeah.
even though,
This
even though,
this there's no way this is
yeah,
true.
even though like it'd be kind of cool to live in that headspace where
Yeah.
like, wait, in 1985, a bear really ingested a ton of cocaine and just went on a ravenous killing spree. Like, oh
Oh
man.
god.
Well, if you're interested in that movie, like we clearly are, it comes out on February 24th, 2023.
Oh, is it the
Um,
24th or the 3rd? I thought it was the
uh,
3rd.
let me see. It says 24th on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I saw the 3rd and I got excited because the 2nd is my birthday. Like, oh
Oh,
yeah,
you
that
want to see it? You want
was
to see it on your birthday?
yeah.
Oh God, my friends made so many inappropriate jokes in the comment section for the trailer,
Yeah.
especially because like I live in LA and there's like a lot of places like that we go to where it's like, oh, like if you go in that room, that's what they're doing in there, and then like they're all like, yo, I heard the bear like stops there first and does a bump and then leaves and goes in the killing spree from there. It's so yeah, I like it because it's invoking jokes like that. Like that is
Yeah.
what it should be doing. And you know, we do get a lot of serious movies, prestige movies that we all love, but we all need a check your
Yeah.
brain at the door and just sit back and enjoy it kind of films
Yeah.
as well.
We all have to. We can't be going to the theater every single time and having to focus 100% of your brain power to watch a movie. Sometimes it's good to go and relax and just chill.
So next up, we have the long awaited, well, I guess not long awaited. The last movie didn't come out that long ago, but we got Indiana Jones 5. They dropped their teaser trailer, and we also got the official title for the movie, which is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which has Harrison Ford reprising the role. He says for the last time, which makes sense because he's getting up there in age. But not directed by Steven Spielberg. He's on as a producer, but it is directed by James Mangold, who directed Walk the Line, Logan, and he also co-wrote the script with Jez Butterworth. And the movie also stars Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas, Toby Jones, Boyd Holbrook, and Mads Mikkelsen. You know what? It's just a teaser trailer, but it kind of washed away all the bad feelings I had about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in like a minute and a half. So
Yeah.
that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with the trilogy and I loved every movie growing up. I loathe Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. It's
And
like
I remember that episode of South Park. I don't want to say what they're doing, but they talk about
I
this
remember this
Crystal
too.
Skull. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen
But yeah, I
it.
saw this. I saw this trailer and I was just smiling the whole way through, especially seeing John Rhys Davies as
Yeah.
Salah come back. That was amazing. The de-aging looks really great.
Yeah, sometimes that could like be hit or miss, right? And like they did a really good job.
I mean,
For
the
what we could
shots that
see.
we saw of him,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Once he starts talking and moving, I don't know how it looks, but for what I see, it looks great. The music when it comes out at the end, the slow version of the theme was pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I saw Antonio. I didn't even know Antonio Banderas was in the movie until the trailer.
Yeah, apparently
And
he explained that he has like a smaller role in it. But he said that he had a lot of fun doing it. He basically plays someone that like kind of Indiana Jones calls upon when he needs help, and like, but he said he still had a great time like kind of playing around with Harrison Ford and being part of that legacy. He said that James Mangold was a really solid director. I think that was if you weren't going to have Spielberg do it, James Mangold I think was a pretty good choice
yeah,
to take this on. And like I always hate like talking down on Spielberg because like he has so many more hits than he has misses. But
yeah,
like you said, I loathe Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
yeah,
and like I feel like that was probably made with the best intentions. Like
yeah,
like a commercial, like a big commercial movie at that time. Shia LaBeouf was going places, and
yeah,
like I can see what they maybe were trying to set up. Even having him maybe take on the mantle of it if they wanted to do
yeah,
something else in the future. It was just too much going on, and it didn't feel
yeah.
like
There was
it
way
didn't.
too much CG. I remember that
Yeah,
it's overloaded, and it's crazy because the cast was pretty good.
yeah,
Kate
yeah. Fucking
Blanchett is
Kate
in there.
Blanchett's in it. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
kind of like, yeah, that was a big disappointment. But yeah, well, watching this trailer and knowing that Mangold's directing, like you said, all the all the worry is washed away. It looks amazing. You
Yeah,
know, the production design, everything looks great. So I'm excited. I'm actually really excited about this.
I am
And
too. And
I hope this is the last one because I think he's over, he has to be over 80.
yeah, he's over 80. I think this is the last one. I know there was a story that came out like maybe 3 weeks ago that they want to continue the IP somehow, like maybe via Disney Plus, like as a show. I don't know if that means like you uh do some prequel kind of thing with a younger person, or what they're gonna do,
Yeah.
or
That'd
just
be
kind of
kind
take
of
the
hard though.
yeah, or
You
just
would
take
have
the
to do like a new
idea.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, or just take the idea of Indiana Jones and have like a new person kind of like
Yeah.
take on the mantle of it, I guess. Because they're it's Disney still, so they're all about maintaining
Yeah.
that IP. Um,
I wouldn't
but yeah,
mind. Actually, I mean, I would say I wouldn't mind, but if they were to do a TV show, I would like it to be back in the day, like 30s, 20s, 1910s, you know,
yeah,
old school. I don't want to see like archaeologists in 2022 like using his iPhone.
dude, it's hard. Yeah. It would take away from the charm of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Like it would
yeah,
completely take away the charm of it. Yeah. And I wanted to mention that about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. What I think it lacked was like heart. It didn't have like the heart of like the first three movies, and that's crazy because Spielberg is really good at making you feel that
yeah,
usually. Um, I think at the time it just like I said, I think the best intentions were there. I don't think the story was right, and of course, like you said, the CGI and stuff wasn't good either. There were like a lot of things I just don't think completely worked, but I think like this time around, it seems like uh they're kind of getting it right. Uh, like I know a lot of people were saying that like you were saying that they were smiling like kind of ear to ear uh during the trailer, so that's a good sign. Like I mean, I think this trailer kind of evoked all like the kid in us that like grew up watching these movies.
yeah,
I think that minute and like what 30 some 40 some seconds
yeah.
did just that, and that was just a teaser trailer. So looking forward to what else they have coming
Yeah.
from it.
When is it set for next?
Yeah, it actually opens on June 30th, which is my brother's birthday. So
Oh, cool. So it's
I
gonna
got
be a
something to do.
summer. Yeah,
Summer movie, yeah.
yeah. I'll be there first day.
Yep, June 30th, 2023. And they also released a really cool poster that day from the movie. It's just like the Indiana Jones like silhouette. It's just like the whole thing is cool. Like I think they did a really good job like giving us the first look at it.
Yeah,
And like I said, it did what it needed to do. It washed away the I don't want to say so. I guess stench is like a harsh word, but
yeah,
whatever residue was left over from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it kind of
yeah.
got rid of that a little bit.
You know what I
Uh,
was? I don't know if it would have been kind of ridiculous, but somehow incorporate short round in there
yeah, I mean
would have been
that would have
kind
been
of cool.
cool.
And now
I mean
that
they've been like buddy
maybe I
buddy
don't know,
again.
maybe he's in there.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
buddy buddy again. They
So
reunited
maybe
recently, and like
maybe they did some extra shots or just have a little
yeah,
cameo in there just
like
to
I don't think
say
it shoots
hi,
something.
hi Indy.
He's having a career resurgence right now. Like yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
Like it'd be perfect. I would love for that to kind of be a possibility. It's never too late. There's still time to shoot a little something. Just to throw him in there.
yeah,
That'd be kind
just
of
like a
fun.
little, like a 2 minute, like, hey, I'm here, I'm still
I'm
alive.
here. Yeah. All right. So next up, this one actually surprised me the most because it actually looks decent, and I'm not a big Transformers fan. But they also released a trailer for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Um, I don't know if it was just the incorporation of like the Biggie Small song in the trailer, or like or what it
I
was.
did.
What it
I'm gonna
was.
straight up and say that's the only thing I liked about the trailer. I'm
I
not
was
a fan of
I,
Transformers.
I was like kind of a little bit hyped for it, but I think it might have been that. I think it might have been like a combination like music and some expertly cut trailer footage that made it look probably better than what it is. But yeah, directed by Stephen Cable Jr. and starring Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback, and there are a ton of people doing offering their vocal talents to the film, including Pete Davidson. Peter Cullen's back as Optimus Prime, signature role for him. Um, Ron Perlman, Michelle Yeoh offering her voice as well. Peter Dinklage. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never know what to think about these movies because
Yeah,
they like the first one I didn't mind because I was like, all right, it's fun. Like it is like a CGI overload, and like it's a lot, but like I had fun. But
Yeah.
then the Michael Bay ones, all the Michael Bay ones after that, it felt like he was directing something very grand and epic, and it was bigger than what it was. Like it was like his Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and then he made them longer and longer, and they were
But you
like,
know what's
no,
I actually we talked about this, but I think the first four of Bay's Transformers made over a billion, if I'm
they did.
wrong.
They were very successful, especially over. I mean,
And
overseas they killed it. Yeah, even
and
here
I
they
think
did really well.
the last one is the one that didn't make as much, I
Yeah,
think. But
so
no,
yeah, I think that's funny that the only good one, considered good one, the one that critics liked, and I think a lot of audiences liked it, but it just didn't do as well, was Bumblebee, and that didn't make as much money as like
yeah.
some of
That's
the
the
other
one I like
ones.
the most. I
I like
actually like
Bumblebee a
the
lot.
middle one, Dark of the Moon.
Moon, yeah,
I like
almost said, yeah,
I like is it Dark of the Moon?
I think so. Let me like, I'll look at that. That would be the third one,
But
right?
I remember, yeah. I remember the first one I watched back in 07, 08. I thought the opening scene was badass.
Yeah,
And I go, wow, this is gonna be awesome. And then I go, okay. And the rest of the movie happened. It wasn't horrible, but 2, 4, 5 are just
trash.
disasters of
Trash.
cinema.
It's just like, yeah. I mean, it. You're right. It's Transformers: Dark of the Moon. It's the third movie. 2011. I remember when
Yeah,
that one being decent.
that one I can watch without wanting to like smash my TV.
Smash your
Like
TV and
it's
gouge your eyes
actually
out.
enjoyable. Like yeah. Like the fifth one, I couldn't believe like they were back in medieval times, and I was just
Times,
like,
yeah.
what is going on here?
Well, I mean,
Oh
I'm trying to. This trailer was let me see. It was a bit longer than like the other ones we've talked about, and I was just like, I what's always been missing from which is why I liked Bumblebee, is that there was more of a human story in it. Like there was like the connection with like Haley Steinfeld's character. Like there was a lot of emphasis on her, as
yeah,
well as like the, the cool stuff with Autobots and all that stuff. Like that's fun, but like if you want a good movie, I have to connect with like the humans in this too. And like I was trying to judge from this trailer if there is some of that in this, or if it felt like it was more, no, just them, more just
yeah. I
CGI
think
overload.
it's gonna be like an overload of the visual, everything. Let's throw everything on the screen because that
Yeah.
last few seconds or 20 seconds is like a billion robots, and you're like, here
yeah,
we go
yeah.
again.
Yeah, that is that last 20 seconds of just like an orgy of like robot violence. Like that's all it is. Um,
Yeah,
but like if I mean I feel, I mean there is an audience for it.
I think these movies are more for like, yeah, I think it's more for kids because like kids were being awe of the transforming part. But
Right,
like
right.
I don't think I could watch this in the theater. Like I'll check it out once it's on streaming or something, but I don't think I'm gonna spend any money on it unless it comes out and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is a masterpiece." Then
Yeah,
I'll probably go check it out.
you
But I
like
don't.
you check out.
I could safely assume it's not gonna be
It's
a
not gonna be a
masterpiece.
masterpiece. I guess someone's like,
Yeah,
yo, it's
I don't
cinematic
think
gold.
so.
It's like the Godfather of the Transformers movies. Oh man, well,
Yeah,
if
and
you do,
I think there's another one on the way, right? I think they have another project
I think
like
so.
ready to go or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So I think they're banking on this like kind of restarting uh this stuff all over again. Uh I mean, I get it for Paramount Pictures, it's a big franchise for them, so I get why they want to
yeah,
keep it going. And I think like cuz I at Joe Blow, I did like, it was a while ago, but they did like I worked a virtual presentation that they had for this movie, and the director was super passionate about like all the stuff that he was
yeah,
kind of going for in this, and all the like wanting to please like all the fans, and like knowing like, yeah, this is what it was really important for him, like as he said, to bring what Michael Bay brought to it, which is like the action, all the overload, like CGI and effects. But he kept emphasizing the Bumblebee stuff and why that movie worked. And even though it wasn't
yeah,
as financially successful as the other ones, I think it
yeah,
was critically well received though. And like I think that kind of does
yeah,
matter too. That I think they also wanted to incorporate the human element. I hope he still maintained that. I hope that didn't change.
Yeah.
Uh,
I you know, like I don't want to like shit on it. I do like the fact that has Anthony Ramos in it. And
yeah,
I'm gonna be intrigued to see if people go out to see this movie because people know him from In the Heights. And I don't know if
yeah,
he's gonna bring that box office,
yeah,
unless people they don't care about who's starring in the movie. They just want to see Transformers. So we
exactly.
want to see how interesting that box office is gonna be that first weekend. If
Yeah, I
people
think so
go out
too.
to see it no matter what.
Yep. Well, if you become interested in seeing it in theaters instead of streaming, it opens on June 9th, 2023. That's gonna be a packed month, dude. Next summer. Um, I think it just opens like 2 or 3 weeks before Indiana Jones. So I it better enjoy its time at the box office before that movie
Yeah.
arrives. Next up, we have a trailer for also dropped on the same day as the Indiana Jones trailer was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which will be James Gunn's last not just Guardians film, but his last like Marvel project because he has to work exclusively with DC Studios now.
Yeah.
Up in the air if it's the last like I think this is the last Guardians film, but I don't know if it's the last like hurrah for like some of the
Appearances of
characters
everybody.
of everyone.
Yeah.
But you got you know, all the principals coming back: Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillian, Bradley Cooper's back as the voice of Rocket. Vin Diesel still getting paid a certain amount of money to voice Groot. um, and then you got Will Poulter.
What a gig.
What a gig, dude. I think he got paid a decent amount of money too to just say one line. Anyway, and then dub it in a bunch of other languages too.
Yeah.
And then you got Will Poulter coming in as Adam Warlock. I think out of all the trailers that just from this and the ones that came out that day, I know other people have talked about it. It feels like this is going to have like a very big emotional weight attached to it. Like I feel like they are
Yeah.
getting rid of at least one of them, possibly more. But it feels like at least one of them is going to bite the dust, just based on the trailer alone and just like some of the reactions you can kind of piece together from watching the trailer. Marvel's really good at doing the whole like
I didn't hear anything. You froze, so I didn't.
Oh, sorry,
hear
sorry.
what you were
Yeah.
saying.
No, I was saying that like no, they're really good at like it seems like that we are gonna lose someone here, and like Marvel's really good at kind of tugging at those emotional heartstrings a bit. I know a lot of people are worried about who it is. They already
Yeah.
people think they know who it is.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out there too. It seems like it's gonna be Rocket.
Yeah.
And
Watching this trailer, I just feel like it's all about getting everybody ready for
yeah,
loss.
yep,
I mean, it's all about, all those little small lines that Rocket had. You see like Peter like crying out. He's looking at somebody, he's crying out. So somebody's either dying or dead. So I'm gonna be with you. I think it'll be Rocket. I know Bautista said this will be it. I don't think he's doing any more Marvel movies or like being Drax.
That's right, Drax.
So those two. So I don't know. I don't think they're gonna kill Peter or Chris Pratt.
No, Chris Pratt. No.
No, I don't think so. I mean, who knows about Karen or what's with the tentacles? I always forget her name.
Oh, Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure Rocket's gonna be the one that's gonna make everybody shed a tear.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I
You
know
because
that
last time he was, because we've seen him grow as a character, and you can see that he's mentioned all the pain he's gone through in his life, and now it's gonna be. He says, "You know what? Let's just go for it. I don't even care." Like he's basically saying, I don't care if I die here.
Yeah,
let's just do it.
It seems like they're really building up to his like true like hero moment, like having like whether it's a moment of sacrifice or whatever it might be in this. I mean, I guess like the character is important. I just like I had no people were getting like super like even on Twitter just posting like that one little shot of him where it looks like he's hurt and just some of the dialogue, and then of course like Peter's reaction to something that looks
Yeah.
devastating. Like a lot of people are like, no, don't go there, please, don't let it be Rocket. And like, but like it's interesting. Like I do like that Marvel's not afraid to kind of do that with some of these
Yeah.
characters. Like, I mean, especially if this is going to be like the last one of these movies. I mean,
Because
you
where
can't.
where would you see it without James Gunn? I don't think they're making another Guardians, or
I don't think
where
so
else are
either.
they going to show up unless they come out of the new Avengers movies in a few years?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, and because I think that James Gunn has put his like stamp of approval on this franchise, that it'd be hard to get someone else to come in and like do something better than what he had been doing. And I mean, I'm fine with them. Like, I guess like Iron Man, like and Captain America. Oh no, well we're getting another Captain America, but with a different person playing him. But like,
Yeah.
I guess Iron Man wrapped up their standalone films, and like, it's then now this one will too. And they also have to deal with like kind of bringing Zoe Saldana's Gamora kind of back into the fold because
Yeah.
she's not quite the Gamora they
It's the
remember, or like
Gamora from the 2014, I guess, from
14 with
the
it. Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So there's that
That'll be
too.
interesting. Yeah.
So I think there's going to be that kind of emotional like tug of war too with the characters as well. Um, some people have like harped on Will Poulter's look as Adam Warlock a
I
little
thought it
bit.
looked pretty good.
I thought it looked fine. I think some comic book fans are just nitpicky.
Yeah.
It's I thought he looked completely like fine in it. I'm really interested to see what he does. I know he like bulked up considerably for the role, and I remember back in the day when like they wanted Zac Efron to play this part. Like he was like one of the people that they really wanted to do it. But I think Will Poulter's a really good choice for this.
Yeah.
And I think he looks. I don't know. I think he looks pretty good. I don't think he looks
Yeah.
bad at all. I just I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for
Yeah.
what looks like what's going to be a really like emotional ride, I think.
Yeah,
With it.
it's funny with me personally. Like I haven't been high on Marvel or at the MCU the
This current
last couple
phase.
of years. Like I before like phase one, phase two, phase three, I was like in the theater day one for each movie.
Yeah.
And like for like four, I'm like, I'll watch it. Oh, I'll watch it next week. I'll watch it like Wakanda for like I watch it like 3 weeks later, or
Yeah.
I'm watching it, but it's not like I have to be there. And I'm like, Ant-Man, okay, maybe I'll go. But like this one, I'm like, I'm gonna be there day one. And it is
Yeah.
the last MCU like project that I'm gonna be super excited for.
Excited about. Yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about songs that like that Ant-Man trailer. It's the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road that
Yeah.
Elton John, they play in that, and like I was like, my friend was like, "You think this looks better than what it does, don't you?" Because they're playing that song. I was like, "I don't know, I think so."
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Sometimes the song it just helps out, like like
It
the
helps, man.
Transformers one. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
it's like
just hype.
Shazam when they use Eminem song.
Eminem,
I
yeah,
was like, oh my god,
it hypes you up a little bit. That's like, I don't know, like whatever works. Um, but yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out on May 5th, 2023. I'm guessing that will kick off our summer 2023 in a big way. Of all the
I
trailers,
think that movie is gonna be huge. To
I
be
think it is
honest,
too.
that's
I
gonna
think it
make
is
a ton
too.
of money.
I kind of think so. Like this year, it was Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness that kicked off the summer, and that did really, really well. I think it did 411 million here. I can see Guardians, this new one, topping that at least here.
What did Wakanda make total? Is it? I mean, it's still in the theaters.
So
But
far,
like,
it's still
what
in the
is it?
theaters. I think it's approaching 400 million domestic, and then like earlier this week it was at 733 worldwide. And it's gonna slow down, but it's gonna get like a few bumps from like the holiday season, just because like
Yeah,
other than Avatar, there aren't gonna be like a ton of big movies playing throughout December, and then films, like if they're even kind of good, get like a bit of a bump like between like right before
yeah,
Christmas and then the New Year. There's still a big, I don't know if Wakanda Forever is going to hit 1 billion because it's not going to open in China and
yeah,
our Russia, and that was a huge. China was a huge market for it the first time around,
yeah.
and
Because the first
Russia
one
was
was like 1.2 or something, 1.3.
the first one made 1.3 billion, and China was 105 million of that. So like that's money
Yeah,
that they're not going to get. It's funny because we like talked about that just like going back to the beginning, like if Black Adam had China or Russia in play, like we'd
Oh, it
be
wasn't.
talking.
It
Wait,
didn't play there.
no, no, it didn't get released
Oh,
there, and it's because China has like really strict rules about what they'll show and like what their standards are. And with Wakanda Forever, it's because of a brief moment between two female characters
well, what
that
happened in Black Adam? I can't even remember.
I can't remember what it was about Black Adam that they were like no.
Well, I can't. I'm trying to think. What would be taboo in China?
Yeah, but like
Hmm.
if they got a release there, like it'd be a totally different story because like Dwayne Johnson is pretty huge like overseas, especially there
Probably
too.
could have done like an extra 50, 70,
Yep, and
maybe.
that makes a huge difference, dude. But you know what they were saying? They
Hmm.
actually said like the last few MCU titles haven't been released in China either. Like I think the last eight. And
Was
I,
No Way Home
No Way Home
released in
wasn't either.
China?
No, and like they that probably would have pushed itself past like $2 billion if it
Because
had been
that,
released.
yeah, that made
Yeah,
a shitload of
it
money
made. I mean, it made
without
a lot of money
China.
without China. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't need it. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be really, really huge. Um, and hopefully a bit of a game changer. I mean, I know people have been like on the fence about this last phase of Marvel. Um, Definitely been some hits, and there's definitely been some misses, and then some like meh, okay, in
Yeah,
between.
it's been all over the place. I mean, I I think Love and Thunder was the biggest disappointment for me. I
Oh,
loved Eternals. It was my favorite of the Phase Four, and
okay,
then like Shang-Chi was very entertaining. No Way
yeah,
Home and
No Way Home was good.
Wakanda Forever and Doctor Strange. That was all over the place for me. I still need to watch it one more time, but I wasn't the biggest fan. What else came out? There was
And then you have
seven of
like
them, right?
then you have the TV shows mixed in because they count.
Oh, Black Widow.
But yeah, Black Widow, and
Black Widow was,
I always forget
yeah,
about Black
I
Widow
actually like that one.
because
Yeah,
yeah, I liked Black
it came
Widow.
out so early.
I know I love No Way Home. Eternals didn't like at first when I saw it in theaters, and then when it came on Disney Plus and I watched it again, I thought it was much better than what my first viewing of
Yeah,
it was. You said, I thought Shang Chi was really fun too. It was funny is that I loved Thor Ragnarok, and but I just kind of felt Thor Love and Thunder like Ragnarok way too hard. Like it was like it doubled down on like what kind of worked in that previous movie and kind of made the character a joke. And
yeah. It was kind of like Taika going, "All right, ideas. All right, we'll do this. We'll do everybody. Give me some ideas. We're gonna put it all in the movie." It
yeah,
was
yeah,
just kind of like I didn't know what was going on. It was. I wasn't expecting that. I
yeah,
was expecting, for lack of a better word, better than
yeah. I
from
guess
Taika.
yeah, and especially because I was excited for Natalie Portman to come back and like actually have something to do. There was like a lot of like things that like I did. There's certain things I did like. I thought Christian Bell was acting in a much better movie that he was in on his
Oh yeah,
own.
he was doing something else. I thought he
Yeah,
was definitely the best
I
part.
was I
The
was like, what movie is he?
Russell
Awful.
Crowe was so ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it was funny because I read something that Russell was like, "Do you want me to do this silly accent?" They're like, "Yes, yes, do it." Because he was just gonna do his regular
Australia.
Australian accent, which would
Yeah,
have been fine. But
yeah.
they're like, "No, dude." It's one of the worst accents I've ever
Decisions.
heard.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was watching it too with Christian Bale, I was like, dude, what movie is he in? Because it's a
Yeah,
better one. It's a much
yeah,
better one. My favorite like version of Thor so far, like as a character, because it was a nice balance of him being like serious and like kind of funny. Like he still had a sense of humor, but he was like still serious enough. I think Infinity War is like my best, like that's like the best he's
yeah,
been overall as a character. If you want to balance the whole like, all
yeah,
right, some of what he does in Thor Ragnarok and like some of what you need to keep him as to keep him like a legitimate character, I think that's the right balance. I
yeah.
think Thor Love and Thunder made
I
him way too over the top
they
silly.
went no, no, I mean they like I agree with Infinity War. He was level head, he was smart, and then like Love and Thunder, he was like
He's just stupid.
a bimbo. He was like a
Yeah,
bimbo.
yeah, he was.
It was just like, what is this? Like, it's okay to be dumb,
Yeah,
to be funny, but it was just too much.
Yeah, I agree.
There were a few funny parts in the movie with him and his axe, or
Oh yeah, yeah,
but other than that, it was just way too much over the top. And
yeah.
even I just read a thing about Chris Hemsworth. Like, if I come back for part 5, it has to be more.
It has to go in a different direction, like
Yeah,
more like
because he can say like, "Whoa, this is ridiculous."
yeah. I think he can read fan reaction and know like, and I don't think it's anything against Taika Waititi. I think it's just like they gave him because of how successful he was with Ragnarok. I think they gave him a lot of creative freedom to do
Yeah,
what he wanted, and there's just too much freedom. He needs to be dialed back like
yeah,
several notches a little bit. Um,
yeah.
to make it a more grounded movie. Of all the trailers that we talked about, which trailer do you think presented the movie that it was selling the best? Like which one?
I'm gonna say indie because I had my trepidations, like, and then that was just gone when I first saw it. I knew Guardians is, I
Yeah.
trust James Gunn. I know he's gonna bring it, so I wasn't worried about that. The indie one, I was just like, okay, let's see what's this. Is he gonna look silly with the aging? Is gonna this 80-year-old man running around? Kind of like Robert De Niro with the horrible when he's trying to
Yeah.
kick the guy in Irishman, and he's like,
Oh God.
oh, that's so awful. I love
Yeah.
Irishman, but that one part is I have to
It's
fast forward.
cringe. It's cringe worthy, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I was Indiana Jones because that was the one I was like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. And like you said, I had faith in what James Gunn was gonna do with Guardians. I will honorable mention Cocaine Bear only because I feel
Yeah.
like it's
Oh yeah,
only
yeah, I
fair.
forgot about that. Yeah, I'll be
Only
watching
fair.
that day one. I don't
Yeah,
care if it has a zero
yeah.
percent on
Said-
Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes. I'm gonna go
I'll be
watch it.
sitting there with my popcorn, like ready to take that all in. But yeah, but as far as like overall like surprise, I think like the Indiana Jones trailer really got me. And then once the score started playing in the trailer, like it's like that John Williams is still scoring
Yeah.
movies. How old is he now? Like
Is this gonna be his last official movie? Because I know he
I
wants to retire.
I think it might be, yeah. And what a way to go
Because
out. Because
he's
like one of his most memorable themes. So if it is, then that's a good way to go out.
yeah,
I think.
because he's what, I think 91.
He's old. I mean, it's still going at it, man. Like good for him. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Other than Hans Zimmer, I think he might be my favorite uh movie composer. And they
I
both
mean, you
make
can
epic themes.
go if you say what's the most epic theme songs of all time, and he's probably gonna have like 6 of them.
6 of them, yeah, yeah. Some of the biggest movies ever made.
Star
Yeah,
Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, E.T., Harry
yeah,
Potter.
yep, yep. Jesus,
Everybody forgets he did the first two Harry
yeah,
Potter, or the first Harry Potter.
yep,
He did the
yeah,
Olympic theme.
yeah. He did.
That's
Yeah,
his theme.
I think my trifecta is like John Williams, Hans Zimmer, and Danny Elfman. I think
Yeah,
they were my
Elfman is
favorite.
cool.
Yeah, uh, those are my three favorite. But John Williams, like if you think of like any of the biggest movies ever made, like yeah, he did that one too.
Hmm.
So
I think he's done some incredible ones. I will say that I think his best score is Schindler's List.
oh
That one song is just
oh yeah,
every
I
time I
know you're
hear
talking
it
about.
makes me cry.
Yeah, I know
And
what you're
just
talking
the
about.
whole, and I remember the story of him telling Steven Spielberg, like, I can't, you need to find somebody better to score
Yeah,
this movie, because he watched the movie, he's like, I can't do this.
yeah.
And he goes, I can't find any better, they're all dead, you have to do it.
You have to do it. He's like, all right. Well, Tony, thank you for joining me for a little quick trailer discussion today. Um, as always, you're more than welcome to come back whenever you like, because you have some good insight and some good takes. And I'll be sure to link your Instagram page and your podcast at the bottom of our description of this episode so they can
Cool.
check out your page and then also listen, rate, and subscribe and review to your podcast because we are all in this together and we all want to collaborate together and all do great work together. So
Yeah.
that
No, I
this is what
appreciate you messaging me and just like, hey, you want to jump? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
let's
And
do it. Yeah, it's I'm glad
hopefully I
that
could officially be a guest.
yeah, you will this time. You will officially be a guest this time. And then as always, guys, you can listen to us across all your various podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Good Pods, wherever you like to get your podcast fits. We are there. And we have a lot coming up. Our first spinoff episode drops on Friday. And then we have 25th anniversary Scream 2 episode dropping on Monday. And then I'll be recording a 20th anniversary episode for 25th hour next week. And then there's some more stuff coming up for Christmas related episodes. It's a good time to be busy, trying to get this all out of the way before the holiday starts and catch everyone before they go do all the family and friends stuff.
It's around the corner.
I know. That's why I'm trying to stockpile like episodes, man. But yeah, until next time, guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.